My name is Faisal, and today I'm gonna be reviewing One Piece chapter 1087. And as you can see by this title slide, it's gonna be all about Garp, Luffy's grandfather. And this chapter, he really shows off, and he's a big boss man this chapter. So without further ado, let's get into this chapter and like what happened and what makes it a pretty great chapter. So it starts off with one of Blackbeard's ship captains, Vasco shot. I think the eighth ship captain. So like a pretty big shot in Blackbeard's crew. And Blackbeard is one of the Yonkos, the four strongest pirates in the sea. So one of his leading officers does like this fireball shot kind of trick and just basically launches a fireball at Garp, as you can see in this picture. And then Garp, what he does is he takes like a bunch of the enemies in the island that he's in right now. He's in like Blackbeard's pirate island, so he takes a bunch of them, and then he just uses them as a shield. Like he just takes a bunch of enemies and he just makes them go up in flames, and then he just throws them around, and just like everywhere, all the enemies around him, he just makes them go on fire. And like basically, he's trying to show like he's the shit, and like all these people around him are all fodder. Like they're like not even a problem to him. So it was really cool to see him just like swing like the enemies around and just like make them go on fire, and him just chilling. After that, we have in the top left corner, we have dumbass Kobe. I call him that because I'll get to that soon. And we have Shiryu, who's a swordsman, and he has the invisible fruit. So Shiryu is another ship commander of Blackbeard pirates, and Kobe is a marine captain. He got captured by Blackbeard pirates, so Garp basically came to save him with a bunch of other marines. I think they're called Neo Marines. They basically can act outside of the marine control instead of like getting approval from the higher ups. So they're basically like a group of mercenary marines that can do whatever they want, and they're led by Garp. So yeah, so basically why Kobe over here is a dumbass is because like basically I think one of the Blackbeard pirates they acted like they're like basically they were trying to say that a civilian is in danger, but it wasn't actually a civilian. And Kobe is like, oh, we gotta save them. And then Garp had to save Kobe because like Shiryu was coming at Kobe with with his invisible fruit. And then while saving Kobe, Garp got um basically he got a sword through his stomach, and Shiryu just like put a sword through his stomach. And then but like Garp takes it like a champ, and he just like punches Shiryu right in, like he slams him to the ground, and then Shiryu's all bleeding and everything. And this is like a commander of the Blackbeard Pirates. He's supposed to be like even stronger than like Vasco shot, and basically Garp just one shots him into the ground, and he's all like bleeding and everything. So like that goes to show how strong Garp is. So after that, we have this cross guild picture because it. I just wanted to talk about Garp's bounty, which is 3 billion. So cross guild is made by Buggy in the middle over there, and his two leading commanders. Buggy is also an emperor of the sea, one of the four strongest current pirates. Or he's not the strongest, but his crew in totality is one of the four strongest currently. Basically, because of Mihawk and Crocodile, which are really strong pirates, two strong pirates. But yeah, so basically, Buggy made a system where Marines, the quote unquote good people, the police officers of the One Piece world, they also get a bounty now because they wanted to reverse the tide, not just have like pirates have bounties. So they gave Marines a bounty. And important thing to note is Garp is a vice admiral, but he got a bounty worth um, 3 billion, which is equivalent to other admirals. So probably like who was it? Green Bull, Fujitora, and Kizaru would probably have the same bounty as him or a similar bounty, which is 3 billion. And one interesting thing is Luffy's current bounty is 3 billion also, and his grandfather's current bounty is 3 billion too, according to the Cross Guild. So yeah, I expected Garp to have like a bounty at least worth the same as like admirals because he turned down the admiral position a lot of times, or even higher, maybe higher than admiral. I expected him to have admiral level bounty in the cross guild or higher, so this wasn't really a surprise for me. But yeah, so like after Garp gets stabbed by Shiryu, but he pummels him to the ground like a piece of cake, like that's like sword through the stomach is nothing to him. Yeah, basically the people around him, the enemies around him, they're like, "Oh, Garp got stabbed, so we can't even take him down." And then that's when Aokiji came, and he said like, even with Garp's arms and legs tied behind his back, you guys still won't be able to like beat him, even if all of you like went at him at once. And Aokiji was a former admiral, the second highest position in the Marine. So if he's saying that, you already know how big of a boss Garp is. And Aokiji is also Garp's apprentice. So let's move on to that topic right now. So after that, in the chapter, we got a mini Aokiji versus Garp. A vice admiral who's basically Garp, a vice admiral, legend of the Marines, Luffy's grandfather. He fought Roger before, the Pirate King, who was basically the only person who found One Piece. He's the rival of Roger. Well, he can 1v1 him and they're neck and neck. They're tied. So someone like that, he's probably above Admiral level, but he's older now. So um, quote unquote, he might be like upper Admiral level or something along those lines. And Aokiji, he's a really great Marine. He was a former Admiral. He fought Akainu, who's a fleet admiral now, for 10 days, and he stuck out with the elemental mismatch. Like Akainu has magma and Aokiji has ice, but he still lasted 10 days against them. So, yeah, so basically they kind of just threw a punch at each other, and then they made each other fly away. And another important nice thing to see was like a flashback about them. Um, it showed how Garp didn't want to train Aokiji when Aokiji was really young, and Garp was much younger too. But Aokiji is like a brilliant young marine, so he just made made Garp train him. And like instead of like punching bags, like how like wrestlers and stuff they train with punching bags, they had this thing called battleship bags. So they punched like battleships like made out of metal and made it like dent. That's like their way of like training. And they had to use their fists with no hockey, no like special abilities. So that was really nice to see them bonding. And throughout time, Garp would go up to Aokiji and be like, "Oh, my son became a revolutionary. Oh, my grandson Luffy wants to become a pirate." Like everyone is like defying my orders, and Aokiji is just like, "Oh, how's this my problem?" And yeah, it was really nice to see their dynamic, how they're kind of like mentor and mentee dynamic, and how they're kind of fighting right now, and like all the clashing that's happening between them. And one more thing was Aokiji. I already expected this from him. He didn't like punch Garp in the stomach. Like he could have like kind of done an underhanded move and punch him where he's hurt, but they each punch each other in the face, I believe. So that's another thing to add about Aokiji's character. You never know where he's gonna go from here. I don't think his last stop is gonna be like staying with Blackbeard. I think he has more to show than that. But right now he's with Blackbeard and he's fighting Garp. But yeah, and then the chapter ends with another Blackbeard's commander, Alvaro Pizarro. Um, Basically, this ship has all the people that Blackbeard pirates have kept captive, or all the injured people on their island, and the Marines saved all of them. And Alvaro Pizarro is basically trying to level that ship and like make all the good guys die. And yeah, he has the island fruit, so he can probably turn into an island at any time or something like that. We didn't explore his powers yet. The manga didn't explore his powers fully yet, but yeah, so he's trying to level all the good guys and in that ship, and that's how the chapter ends. And Garp says Kobe's like yelling like a dumbass again. Like all he did is like make Garp get hurt and just yell, and yeah, but then Garp's on the ground, but he's like, and Aokuji's on the ground too because they punched each other, and then they're just like, Garp is just like, "Don't worry, justice will prevail." That was like a pretty sick line. Um, and that's how the chapter ends. Next slide, I'm just gonna give a rating on this chapter. So it's 9 out of 10. Almost perfect, I would say. It was a really great chapter. I loved Aokiji and Garp's flashback. I loved how Garp is like taking care of multiple Blackbeard commanders and Aokiji at the same time. I think you'd expect that from Luffy's grandfather and one of the strongest characters ever in the One Piece verse, even if he's older now. And it also, the chapter sets up well for the future chapters, because like Alvaro Pizarro is about to like level the ship or that the Marines are on. And yeah, I just think that this chapter was really cool. We got to see Garp being a badass, and um, see like how strong he is fighting Aokiji at the same time. I would say he's probably around Aokiji level or a little bit higher right now. And I just can't wait to see like what happens in the future chapters, and Egghead and all that, what Luffy and them are all doing in Egghead, in Vegapunk's lab and all that, and Law and Kid, what's happening to them, and the future, like in the future arcs, how it's setting up. But overall, like this chapter, Blackbeard captains and versus Garp was really nice, and I look forward to seeing where this goes. And yeah, that'll be all for this chapter. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.